Hey folks, welcome to another episode of Arcane Assist. I'm recording at Studio Seretti, home of Not Snakes Gaming, and playing with Attilio.
Hey guys, how's it going?
I'm doing really well.
Yeah, no, it's
to the internet to realize if they're doing well.
That's fair.
We're playing a cool matchup. I'm excited about this. I spent most of the weekend at the Booker Brawl playing some Retribution. I'm still seriously considering if I'm playing Retribution next year or not. Right now, I'm testing out Issyria in Shadows. I really, really like this list. And Attilio's playing Ossrum, who was my only loss at the Booker Brawl event.
To be clear, it was not me, but...
No, for sure. The Ossrum list, the one he's playing is very similar, if not exactly the same as the list that Danny played.
I think so, yeah.
Danny, who won the wildcard event, and I think is now, fingers crossed, qualified for Mission Weekend. So
should be.
Shout out to Danny, super sweet guy. Really, really fun to see him do as well as he has this year. My Issyria list has Issyria, Hyperion, and Hemera. My solos, I'm running Eilish and the Narn and Eiryss 1, both free choices in the theme. I have one Arcanist, and then 2 units of Mage Hunter Strike Force, both of the Mage Hunter Commander attachments, and a minimum unit of Infiltrators who get Ambush from the Theme Force benefit.
Mm-hmm. And I'm playing basically Charles Soong's Ossrum list, which is 2 Bashers, 3 Drillers, 4 Blasters, 1 single Gunner, a Max Hammer Dwarf unit, and then Anastasia, and then my free solos are Gorman, de Wulfe, Kell Bailoch, Eiryss 1, and Ragman.
Yeah, it's pretty scary.
Yeah, just a lot of stuff.
Yeah, really, really good list. So, without further ado, we'll jump right into it.
Oh, I forgot the mortar. Oh, well.
Oh, well, there's a mortar in the list, too.
Yeah.
We can say that.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, now that we've accomplished some further ado.
Yeah.
All right, so we rolled off. I won the die roll, and lessons learned from yesterday, I opted to go second.
Yes.
So I think Danny won the game that we played at the Booker Brawl because he put more thought into the matchup than I had, and it panned out in his strategy. I elected to go first. I moved up aggressively to threaten his positions, and he feeded bottom of 1 and ran to engage a bunch of pieces. And then I was like, oh, I feel like I have to feed here. And I feeded very unproductively into into Ossrum's feed turn. Going second, I feel like I have the opportunity to either force Attilio here to feed a little bit earlier, and then maybe not be as jammed up, or be in a position to proactively feed with Issyria into not your feed turn.
Yeah.
I think the lesson that I learned from this matchup is I have to do reasonable attrition work into Ossrum's jacks before you feed, or at least on a turn that you're not feeding.
Right.
I don't want to feed. I don't want to counter feed.
Yes.
It's not much of a counter, it turns out.
No. Signs Importance isn't exactly a direct damage buff.
Yeah, it's an indirect damage. I mean, it's obviously worth a lot of damage, but it's all theoretical, and the absolute values can certainly punish it. So I've deployed Issyria, an Arcanist, and Eilish pretty centrally. I've got Hemera up on my zone, and I've got Hyperion. This board pretty much restricted Hyperion's placement fairly absolutely. And for one thing, on mini recon, fitting between the objective and the flag is pretty punitive, especially if you just want to advance 5 and shoot a bunch, which Hyperion wants to spend the early parts of the game doing. And then that big obstruction on the top side of the board was pretty punishing too. So I opted to play him fairly far down on my side of the board. He can score that zone, and he can have a fairly relevant shooting gallery across the board there.
Yeah. So most of my deployment is playing a symmetrical game where Ossrum is in the center with drillers surrounding him, and then both bashers on both sides, and then 2 spray bunnies towards the Hyperion, 2 spray bunnies, and a solid shot towards the other side of the board.
Yeah, if you hadn't played your dwarves so centrally, I might have put Hyperion on the same side as them to try to get good crit consumes early. But I think you played them the smartest way, kind of behind, well insulated, ready to kind of be the finishing pieces that they're supposed to be.
Right.
I'm playing the Eiryss game, and I think your Eiryss is better than my Eiryss because you have snipe.
This is true. The interesting part, though, is my Eiryss doesn't really do as much when your mechanic is still around.
It's true. Yep, I can clear disruption, which helps a lot. In the game I played against Danny, I played the mechanic really tight to Hyperion, which is what I normally do to give him good allocations and to have relevant concentrated power where I needed it. And he disrupted Hemera all game.
Yep, sounds about right.
So I have changed my strategy, and in this game I will be playing the Arcanist next to the single jack that can be disrupted and not near the Colossal who's immune to it.
So a relevant piece of information here is that I think we both took the healing objective.
Yes, stockpile.
Yeah, so my thinking here was that I was going to basically throw some gun bunnies on the far flanks to try and clear off any infantry that come their way, and then put every heavy I can within 4 inches of my objective, and as far forward as possible. Basically, I'm thinking he's probably going to feat this turn, so let's just try and insulate with maybe getting some lucky you won't kill one of my heavies, and then it heals and then does work.
It's smart forcing me to feat this turn because I think I have to feat before or well after Ossrum feats. Well after you engage too many pieces and probably kill too much stuff, so I really want to feat before. But if I feat this turn, I get Strike Force. But especially based on the way that I've deployed, I don't even get an ancillary shot on Hyperion. And denying him the Signs of Importance turn is really, really powerful. I probably don't get any shots with Hemera in a meaningful way under the effects of the feat. So it's probably the right call to sort of try to bait the feat out here rather than staying more conservative.
Yeah. And actually, at the beginning of this game, I was debating, do I just feat right now and run as far forward as possible? And then I think you just back off a turn and nothing happens and come in the following turn and I lose.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you do a really good job of insulating your flag, but I think the Infiltrators buy me the contesting I need there. So it's also worth noting, of course, the Infiltrators do ambush here.
And same with Anastasia di Bray.
Yeah.
So it's back to you now. So what is your plan seeing my massive dwarves around an objective?
Well, I have to shoot as much as I can, and I really would like to kill 2 Bashers here. There's some weird math. So Bashers are dice down 7 if I'm taking, or pardon me, dice down 9 if I'm taking single shots. Dice down 9 averages 2 damage a piece. On the feet, it should do more like 3 or 4 damage. So what I should do is take 10 shots or 11 shots with Strike Force into it and do 33 points of damage to a Basher, which should kill it pretty comfortably.
Yeah, like 5 points over.
Yeah, so what I'm thinking about here is I'm thinking about Narn's in range to charge the Basher, and he personally does dice down 8, 6, and then on the charge attack, 6 on the charge attack, and then another couple points. So he's worth about 10 points of damage, and quite safely 10 points of damage on the feat turn because of the Signs of Importance effect. The Strike Force are worth, let's say, about 3 points each, so I'm hoping to do 33 damage with Unit Strike Force. So that means I need to do 18 points to the Basher, and then have the other half of the Strike Force do a bunch of damage to the other Basher, and then move up my Strike Force unit and finish the second Basher and put as much damage as possible into the 2 Spray Bunnies at the end of the set. So that's my line of thinking for this turn. If by the end of the turn I can disrupt a relevant piece, kill the Basher, kill the other Basher, and do a bunch of work to the 2 Spray Bunnies, that takes a lot of the infantry clearing tools Attilio has available to him off the table.
Yeah, for sure.
And then, Inviolable Resolve Hyperion, put Admiral up on Hemera, and just call it good.
Yeah, I like it.
So that's what's happened so far. Issyria's cast Crusader's Call, Admonition, and she's cast Inviolable Resolve. She's allocated nothing, so Crusader's Call costs her 3, Inviolable Resolve costs 2, Admonition only costs 1 because I arc it through Hemera.
Yeah.
So I'm camping 2, which is enough that I think a mortar shot with Fire for Effect isn't just going to kill me.
Yeah, I think you're also just out of range right now. But
it could drift, and I'm worried about a blast damage roll.
That's fair. She is only arm 13. So I think now we're starting to do some dice at this Basher that's farther from the camera.
Yeah, I start taking single shots here, and they're really not going my way.
No.
I'm dice down 9, and I've done 0 damage on shots so far. So getting a little bit... So the math should be worth about 30 or 33 damage, thereabouts, a little bit less than that on the Basher here. If I do 2-person CRAs, I theoretically actually just lose damage. But I switch gears and I move over to doing 2-person CRAs on the Basher because I feel like I have to put enough work into it. And I'm just, my dice aren't doing very well for me. Big gambler's fallacy of me, but it ends up bouncing up to a few points of damage. It's still it's 4 points of damage per 2 of them, a little bit more like 5 or almost 6 points of damage per 2 of them, but it costs a lot of attacks. So it's pretty close, 2-person CRA versus not 2-person CRAing. And when the dice are tilting you, sometimes, I mean, like, it's bad logic to say I've been rolling bad, I'm going to keep rolling bad, or even I've been rolling bad, I'm going to start rolling good. But it's often good logic to consider that my dice are affecting my emotional state. I'm going to put myself in a position where the dice are going to matter a little bit less.
That makes sense.
So I end up putting all the Strike Force shots into the one basher instead of being able to redirect some of them. And I put Narn in when he's on like 12 boxes instead of 10.
Yes.
But Narn has a nice solid spike on the open, so I feel pretty good about that. And he doesn't completely flub his second damage roll, which is key here.
Yeah, so I think Nard gets to finish him off and sprint away, which is always fun.
I debate a couple of different spots for Narn. Eventually I decide to put him... He actually he's not quite able to sprint onto the flag. But I put him kind of just in front of it.
So this is good old Eiryss doing good old disruption bolts.
Yeah, I'm not sure if this is the right line of play. It might be a misplay. I want to put Disruptive Spray Jack so that I can save some of my infantry over here. But I do end up putting Eiryss and Narn in a nice little line. Eiryss is on the flag right now, so she's at least threatening to be able to score on the next turn.
So now we're going after the other Basher, who is the other infantry clearing.
Yeah, so I'm feeling a little bit like, I left the first Basher on 12 boxes with my shots. Like, I know what the math should be, but it's certainly not what the math ended up working out to last turn. So I'm feeling a little bit like, uh-oh, what do I do here? Like, am I going to be in some real trouble? Because Bashers can definitely kill a lot of Strike Force with the flak fields. And I was really hoping to put reasonable damage with this unit into the Strike Force. Like, I was hoping to start shooting this Basher when it was on not very many boxes.
Right.
Using the same logic as before, which is only sort of mixed reasonable logic, I do two-person CRA shots. These guys certainly start to warm up a little bit, doing a bit more damage.
And so I think we're getting close to the end of this CRA.
Yeah, again, with a bunch of two-person CRAs, I end up getting, I think I put 4 of them into it, and I leave them alive on something like 8 boxes. And I've got 3 models left to decide what to shoot with. And I opt to do a single shot with the first one.
Yeah, and that does no damage.
It does no damage. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to do the 2% CRA on the last one. I was hoping I could maybe chip into those 8 points of damage with those 3 shots, just getting maybe a good spike in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Doesn't work out, and this entire unit of Strike Force shooting ends up leaving the Basher alive on, I want to say, 2 boxes?
Yes, it's 2 boxes.
2 boxes.
And it's in like Cortex and Movement, which is all it really needs, but there's also a healing objective just right there.
Yeah. So Hyperion's in a position where I can run into the zone, just be in there and threaten. The thing that's useful about that is he threatens the entire zone if he's towing into it.
Yeah.
So that's helpful.
Yes. So I've lost a good amount of pieces here, but in a good amount I mean a lot of infantry clearing. Additionally, I lose access to a slam on Hemera, which would have been really good. That was my backup plan if that Basher lived. So slam him out of the zone and then follow up with a disruption bolt and maybe like cause focus allocation to become really weird there. So that didn't happen, which is fine. I'm debating right now whether or not to bring in Anastasia di Bray. Also, fun note: the Basher healed 2 boxes and now is fully functional.
Yep. It's a healthy Basher.
Yeah, 4 boxes, center columns, gotta love it. So I'm trying to figure out if I want to bring in Anastasia, and I'm really just like I could try and like maybe contest your flag with it, and then not have to like throw a bunny over there. But at the end of the day, you still have the infiltrators to like charge in afterwards, or to come in on the far side, and then I have nothing to deal with those ambushers coming in. So I elect to save her. Instead, we activate Ossrum, we spend 2 for Energizer, and Feet. You Feet first, obviously, because Pathfinder's sometimes an issue.
Yeah, it's super strong. I mean, obviously, Ostrom's Feet is going to be really good, and I'm probably not going to end up doing a ton of work here. The Basher surviving, obviously, is helpful. But I feel like even just taking 1 Basher off the board and then having to play a game I'm in a position that I like.
It equalizes out the points at least a little bit too, because like that's basically worth the free solos that I have.
Yeah. I mean, I'm playing up a couple free solos too. I mean, let's not.
Yeah, no, I know.
Suggest that there's no theme benefit being applied here. So the Disrupted Jack, you Energizered and Advanced, they can walk 8 inches, so effectively 10 inches. It gets within 4 inches of the flag. Hemera procs Admonition and walks into melee with it. To deny it, even the just unboosted spray is pretty reasonable here.
But it's doing its job. It's near the flag. So now we're spraying over top of what's
Eiryss and Narn.
Yep.
That's that spray that I told you. You killed Narn, but miss Eiryss. So
it was sad. It happens.
It does.
So this solid shot bunny is going to do something here. It's shooting...
Hemera, I think?
Yeah, and misses horribly. I hit my own bunny in the back, and then I do a couple points of damage.
Hemera behind the obstruction and engaged in melee's defense 20, so... I mean, he needed 12, which is not actually outrageous. Or sorry, no, he doesn't get to aim. No, he needed 14. That might have been greedy.
Yeah, no, it was. I probably should have just ran him to the back of this house and been annoying.
On the flip side, shooting your own bunnies on your feet turn, they probably are fine.
Yeah, I mean, I took like 2 points of damage. It's whatever. It matters in the end, but not as much as... there's things I could have done better there. So this is the mortar, trying to figure out if I can just get a good drift. And I end up going too far. 5 inches is not what I wanted. I wanted like 2 or 3. I end up clipping like just Hyperion with the blast damage, and spoiler alert, an ARM 21 Hyperion doesn't care about POW 7 blast damage, even when it's fully boosted.
Yeah, not a lot.
So that's fun. So now I'm looking at what solo really needs to be on this flag right now. Once your mini feats are done, the stealth solos and things like Ragman are a lot more useful, because Ragman can sack pawn to the mortar and, Gorman stealth. So I decide Kell Bailoch is probably the best solo to be on this flag. He'll do 3 points of damage to the Hyperion, and we'll move on. So now we're looking at spray bunnies, doing spray bunny things. We're trying to get as many boys as possible under the spray.
Getting some of them on the hill was, I think, key here, because that means you have to roll 10s instead of 8s.
I agree.
It's still pretty reasonable odds, but maybe you miss half the guys on the hill.
Exactly.
You end up killing only a couple, instead of killing the 5 that you have to take shots at.
Right.
This was clever. You line up a good spray using your own bunny, and you hit, I think, maybe 2 more than you would have been able to hit just targeting any one of them. Again, the hill saves my life a couple of places here, but you actually ace the commander, which is nice.
Yeah.
This is the unit that has not yet mini-feated.
Yes.
So that protects some pieces, maybe makes that centrally placed forest a little bit more effective for you. There's a lot of lines of play where I just mini-feat and end up charging to just ignore a forest and get charges that you don't expect me to have. So I think killing him early kind of saves you from a lot of those tricky lines of play.
Yes.
You're slamming now with the Basher, who is alive on 5.
4, but yes. So I was trying to figure out what the best angle of approach here was, or if it was worth just charging even and then getting more flak fields. But I decided to follow up, get one guy, and then flak field on 3 members with a
you got 2 because you slammed him into somebody else.
They
both died. And then you get, I think it's 4 flak field.
Yeah.
Or 3.
Yeah, so I get 2 of those with the flak field, which is good, because it's only dice off 6, 6s.
Sorry, dice on 5, so 6s will kill.
Yeah,
exactly. The POW 6 flak field. I'm really afraid because POW 12 auto kills all these guys like a Kodiak, but it's actually POW 12 for base to base and then POW 6 on the other guys, which is still very effective, but it doesn't necessarily do it.
So Gorman decides to walk up to the corner of the zone here. This is me again, forgetting about ambush.
It's good to acknowledge mistakes, yeah.
Yeah.
Gorman's probably in for an ambush charge.
But I did remove the command attachment to that unit, so I figure I can put a cloud on myself and be stealth, and then it's a lot harder to kill him.
Yeah, the UAs ignore line of sight for clouds, intervening models, and forests, but not obstructions, and it also lets them ignore cover. The only stealth out is the feet, which I've already popped. But you could now play things behind that cloud and have them be safer, and just so Gorman's pretty untouchable, and then stuff behind the cloud is too.
So then now I've positioned, I'm imagining the Hyperion's going to come in a melee soon. It's going to happen. So I imagine that I need to start putting pieces to try and kill it, which may or may not be a mistake. We'll see. But I run 1 driller to be in front of 2 bunnies, or behind 2 bunnies, so that theoretically it takes weird order of activations to kill those 2 guys, so you can get the Hyperion there.
And maybe end up jamming myself up with strike force charges or something.
Yeah. And then I put another driller behind that, so hopefully he can try and do some work combined with all the hammer dwarves that run 14 inches.
And good layering, for sure.
Yeah.
Flips the clock to me, and the first question I ask is Ragman within 13.5?
Yep.
And he is, so some infiltrators go around to the side.
So yeah, so not only did I mess it up once, I messed it up twice.
I mean, like, good placement, because I'm like, maybe I can kill Gorman. He looks pretty securely there. And then you move Ragman, I'm like, infiltrators are going to infiltrate. It's pretty good for them, for sure. They really, really like having the access to something scary and strong.
Mm-hmm.
And killing Ragman and Gorman and maybe contesting a flag and tying something else up, like that's, if they're there and they're even remotely sticky, they've done their job amply.
Yeah. And those are also the two things that help debuff the Hyperion, which is really useful.
Yeah.
And both of them dying this turn is very not good for me.
Yeah, because I did end up losing the Hyperion last time I played this matchup, and it was after I'd killed Ragman, but I left Gorman alive and just forgot that Rust was just as effective a debuff. And Hyperion going down to 19 makes him a lot more fragile.
Yeah.
I really rely on that 21 for him staying alive throughout the course of the late game. So measure a vector. If Hemera just like one-handed throws a bunny at another bunny, does it clear the flag? It does. So Hemera gets a focus from the Arcanist, walks up, boosts a power attack two-handed throw on the bunny, and hits only barely. I roll a 6 right there. A little opposed strength check, win the strength off, and huck the bunny into another bunny, knocking them down. Again, there's only so much I can do to deal with the pieces on the Ossrum feat turn. So I'm trying to control them. I'm trying to just negate as much as I can and maybe put some damage into softer targets.
Yeah, you never want to allocate a focus to a gun bunny. That feels really bad.
And Hemera gets to repo 3.
So good.
I'm in threat of the Driller, but it's going to require resource investment to get there, so I'm okay with that. Hemera really loves having like a house you can repo behind to protect yourself. That's one of her favorite places in the world.
Yeah, that sounds about right. So what are you thinking here aside from Infiltrators Go?
Well, I'm thinking I've got a lot of really weird and complicated activations to do, and the Infiltrators are a really easy, really simple one. So they're just going to go, and they're just going to do their thing. One of the Infiltrators gets to engage the Mortar Crew, which is an awesome place for him to be. 2 of them get to charge Gorman, 2 of them get to charge Ragman, and one of them just runs to be in the trench and within 4 inches of the flag. So I have a weird distribution of attacks here, where the first guy into Gorman combos, which is probably a mistake, misses. Second guy, I'm like, oh, that was a mistake. I go to singles. He misses his first single charge attack. I'm like, oh, God, does he just lose here? And then he manages to roll the 6 on the last single attack to kill him exactly to the box. The 2 guys who charged Ragman learned their lesson, chose single attacks, and they killed him on, I think, the charge.
So now I am down 2 solos, which is fun.
Yeah, Issyria is playing a conservative game. The ways I've lost this game before have been Issyria dying, so I'm just going to keep her at a 23 inches of Eiryss. I'm going to play her really, really far back. This means I end up abandoning Hemera to be babysat only by an Arcanist, and I think that's just perfectly fine from where I'm standing. She puts an ancillary attack in with Hyperion.
Yes.
Who
Trying
uses
to
it
crit consume.
Shoot the Driller, and does no damage to the Driller. It's a bad... So I had already Puppet Mastered with Eilish, and I re-rolled the Puppet Master shot to just try to fish for that crit. The 2-die crit is probably not worth fishing for. So that might have been a mistake. It's easy to get greedy. I charge with this unit of Strike Force, the ones who've lost their commander. They charge the Basher. I put 2 charges, and I do a CMA.
Yeah.
So that manages to secure that last 4 points of damage, which is key, I think, almost exactly. And then 2 of them go into Spray Bunnies, mostly to engage them, but also to do some damage, and they put a little bit of work into the Spray Bunnies.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they do a couple points. Arm 21's hard to crack, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, it is. Hyperion's pretty decent at cracking it.
Oh yeah, no, he can get in deep right now, as you will now see. We're measuring 2 inches to a Driller.
Yeah, Hyperion would be better in this situation with the Arcanist. I tried a lot of different ways to put 2 Arcanists in this list, and it's not really possible. It costs you a lot of things. Usually it's Eilish, and Eilish is very powerful, especially when you get a reroll and you get the crit on a boosted attack roll. It's insane. Like the odds of that happening are very, very high. So I've decided that in this matchup, just Hyperion's power strength 21, and that just has to be acceptable. And it's pretty good.
Yeah.
He punches leading off with the left fist into the bunny, and he does a nice damage. Like I think it's 8 damage to 4 or something like that. Like he just really cranks it. Puts his right fist into the driller, and then buys an attack.
Yeah, I think this is 4 attacks into the driller and takes it down like to the box basically.
Yeah, I get a little bit lucky. I'm rolling pretty consistently 8s instead of 7s, so I do pretty well. I end up leaving the driller on like 5 or 6 boxes, something like that.
Yeah, and I think it's enough where this other unit of Strike Force can finish it off or something like that. Or you may just kill it. I'm not entirely sure. I don't remember at this point.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I debated my last attack. I was like, I can heal my shield for the maybe D3 points that Kell put into it. I can take some of those out. I can put another attack into the bunny, or maybe I just put the attack into the driller and try to cripple another system, and I roll boxcars and kill it to the box.
Yep.
So I got kind of lucky on that last attack.
Yeah, that's right. I had a weapon boxes left.
Yeah. It's not super important to kill Ossrum's pieces as much as it is to cripple them.
Yes.
So that's sort of what I'm trying to play for. Is I'm just trying to put like good attrition work into a bunch of different pieces. I charged this unit of Strike Force into the 2 knockdown spray bunnies. I put 2 attacks into each of them, I think.
And I think you end up like crippling the movement on one and doing like no damage to the other, or something like that.
Yeah, weird distribution of damage a little bit. When I'm 21 and you're charging, so your 4 dice, you should do like around 5. If you CMA, you do around 7. So you lose damage by doing 2-person CMAs. I go for single attacks, and I have a couple that just flub into nothing, and then a couple that spike into a bunch.
Yeah.
So that's fine, honestly. It's a bit weird that I do the damage to the guy who's like, I think, inside the 4 inches of the objective.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm focusing on crippling aspects, and Attilia is positioned well to make it so that those aspects can be healed. So there's some play and counterplay going on there.
Oh, fun fact, Eiryss walked up and disrupted the driller that wants to kill the Hyperion.
Yeah. Go Eiryss.
So that was fun.
She's like, oh, you missed me with a spray. All right, well, goodbye, driller.
Yep, so that's me remembering just there that I can't allocate. So looking at the board right now, there's a Hyperion who just gets to live in that zone, and it's very sad. I have dwarves that can charge it, and we can get some work done and maybe hold it off for a while, and then just like slowly abandon that zone. Just
let's hope the top's going well for you.
Yeah, basically. That was kind of my plan at this point. So right now I'm looking at the board and thinking, well, maybe I can get some more chip damage in if the mortar can free itself up, and like maybe I can free off the flag and score a point here before things go to shit. So Kell Bailoch can forfeit movement to aim, try and kill the guy in the trench, and maybe another one that's also within 5, but he's most likely needs to hit a hard 8 against the guy in the trench, so he needs 2 shots at that. We ambush Anastasia, and she's going to try and kill one of the guys closest to the flag and engage the other. So now we have a cute play where we walk the 2 members of the Horgenhold artillery corps into the back arc of this whatever the hell his name is, Infiltrator.
Yeah, I think we got 1 in the back and 1 not in the back.
Yeah.
Neither of them hit.
Yeah. They need 7s, though, so, like, maybe one of them does? Or
yeah, well, needing a 7, needing a 9. Like, it feels like you've got a 50-50 and then, like, a 30% or something. So, probably is the answer, and it just didn't come down your way this time.
So, the mortar's just sitting there, like, well, that's my life now.
Stacey murdered dude, though.
That's her job. So, Kell Bailoch fails to kill this guy, which was kind of sad. So, I'm like, well, hammer dwarves, you can get there. So, we have 1 dwarf charge there. The others charge the Hyperion. We get like 3 or 4 onto it, I think. I think it's 3.
Yeah, the way I mean, I would have loved to get a crit consume on this driller, but it was greedy to go for that line of play. What I should have done is actually just activate Hyperion first and then have an ancillary attack to punch the other bunny. But I still think the dwarves are a little bit restricted in where they can go because they don't have the distance from the feet. So they're line up a bunch of cracks at 7s on Strike Force members. One of them even has a shot at a 5, because you get a back arc.
Yeah.
And then, you've got kind of the leader model hugging the driller, and then the kind of everyone else sort of fanning out into 3 different areas.
It's a really weird matchup with them because they want to be base to base with each other to deal with the strike force, but at the same time they don't want to clump up because of the Hyperion.
Yep.
And you're
like base to base in like little 2-person pockets all over the place.
Yeah. And you're like, oh god, this is horrible. What do I do? So do a little bit of chip damage. We do manage to kill the infiltrator that's near the flag, so that's really good. I'm going to score at least 1 point this turn. Hooray. We don't kill any of those other Mage Hunter Strike Force with the 7s that I needed, which was kind of sad.
Yeah, you missed the guy in the back arc too.
Yeah.
They were like a 3 instead of a 5.
Yeah, those Hammer boys were just not having it.
Not today.
No. So, I mean, that's fine. So Ossrum moves out a little bit. It's really important to get him out of the forest soon, because if he's just in the forest for the rest of the game, he can never get towards the other side of the zones.
Yeah. He's slow. He's slow when it's not his feet turn.
Yes. So now we cast Unstoppable Force, and we didn't shake Knockdown on the Knockdown bunnies, and that was kind of a mistake, because it means they don't get to shoot at all, even without having, like, focus. Like, ideally you shake and then...
So I just want to quickly note what happened there is you Unstoppable Force moved a bunch of Strike Force, then backed off, took a free strike, and died.
Yep.
That was exciting.
Yeah. The bunny was just like, no, we don't want to exist anymore. So I was worried also about gumming up a charge lane here in case I do get to get on Hemera with this driller. And
but I think you're kind of operating under 2 plans at the same time.
Yes.
Because you cast Unstoppable Force, then move right into Unstoppable Forcing things, and we're like, oh, I didn't energize her.
Yeah.
I'm not actually in threat of Hemera anymore.
Correct. So things went wrong. Mistakes were made. So instead, we're now looking at killing more Strike Force with this driller, and also getting within the flag. So that's the hope, because things have gone wrong. I think that's what's happening.
Yeah, so what's being debated right now is we're just looking at where the Strike Force pushed to, and you point out, which I actually think I wasn't really aware of, is that I only move an inch when in the forest. Mm-hmm. And then you get to move this, it's a blaster.
Yeah.
This blaster to within 4 inches of the flag and push another Strike Force member.
Yeah.
But you don't push the Strike Force member because you realized you would have been out of control area at the point where you were pushing him.
Yeah.
And Unstoppable Force you have to be in control to make use of.
Which is okay, I guess. He doesn't get the charge now, which is nice. Or shoot, I guess. That's fun. So, hooray.
Well, he was knocked down, so he forfeited anyway.
No, I'm saying the guy who I engaged.
Oh, yes. No, he doesn't get to shoot. He doesn't get to charge you. He's not in an ideal spot at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
tying him up is probably better than pushing him back in that case.
Mm-hmm.
You kill a couple of infiltrators there?
Yeah, I don't know what with. Was that? Oh, that was a spray bunny who moved backwards.
Yeah, spray bunny came back, got a spray on 2 of them.
Because I want them to be in low numbers late game when they can run to contest the far zone. We're all in on playing score the far zone.
Well, and depending on how quickly it starts to happen for you, it's a good plan. Mm-hmm. Like, I've got 1 point right now from scoring my flag. You're going to get 1 point from scoring your flag right here. So we're pretty scenario equal, and things are collapsing for me pretty rapidly up there.
Mm-hmm. And it's fun to note that Eiryss is one of the only solos that can score that flag because she ran 14 inches away 2 turns ago. I was like, let's just prepare for the inevitability. Actually, I wasn't even thinking that. I was just hoping to get a beat on Issyria, to be honest.
Yeah, you really forced me to come really far this way. So, I mean, she's also bullying the side of the board that you want to eventually end up scoring on, so it's not a bad thing.
Yeah. So we passed the turn, and we both have scored 1 point.
Yeah, so I've got some interesting decisions here. Both feats are gone. So is a lot of Strike Force, but so are several of the Jacks.
Yes.
So let's figure some stuff out here. I debate a couple of things. One of the options is just having Hemera try to, like, throw a driller away. It's not great. She only has 1 open fist, so she gets to be her strength 10 against your strength 12.
Yeah.
So I need to... Basically, you get a +1 on me. Mm-hmm. So it's like a 30% chance of success.
Well, doesn't the tie go to the defender?
No, the tie goes to the attacker.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
So it's like a 30%, not like a 16, but it's still, like, not great. Mm-hmm. It might still be good, because it might be the only way I can actually get the driller out of that spot. I don't have a vector for a slam. I check that a couple of different ways. So I try a couple of Strike Force charges trying to remove basically the bunny here. The one who's engaging him stays engaging him, couples charge him, and the one who's engaged by Hammer Dwarf charges a Hammer Dwarf.
So I think you do end up actually just one-shotting this bunny. Oh, you also get one onto the driller for some chip damage.
Yeah, sorry, I got one charge on the driller with a guy who just didn't really have a good vector for the bunny, and then two onto the gun bunny, and they do crazy. They spike pretty nicely, and I think the first one does 7, and the second one does 11.
Yeah, it kills into the box. Just like, bye-bye. I was like, okay, well, that's why there's 2 models there. So.
Yeah, just roll a 20 on 4 dice, It's pretty average.
That's fine.
There's a driller back here, and now he's disrupted.
Yep. Really, really annoyed I couldn't hit that 10 on Eiryss 2 turns ago.
The Arcanist gives one to Hemera. Hemera was out of control, but again, I'm fine with that because of the Arcanist being available to support her. Tries to throw, actually just rolls dump ones to hit.
Yeah.
Does not get to even make the throw attempt roll. But is in position that after the repo, I can still get Issyria back into control, and that's fine. That gives me a free upkeep next turn. That gives me the ability to allocate to Hemera. The driller here is a problem. I don't really have any hard-hitting targets available to address it, so I just kind of abandoned the notion of being able to remove it this turn. Hope that Hemera can hold that zone.
Which, I mean, he is okay at, but...
I think it's a she.
A warjack? I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, once you're a character, you identify all kinds of personable things.
Yeah, it's weird.
So we do a couple of CMAs. I finished killing the gun bunny who took all the damage from Hyperion before. We put a couple of CMA shots into dwarves that are middlingly effective. And then we put, I think, a shot.
I think you do get a shot onto the...
Might have been the driller.
Yeah. So Issyria is now walking to ancillary attack and be in control for Hemera.
She ancillary attacks to get Hyperion to just punch a dwarf.
Yeah, I was confused by that.
They're your armor cracking that can kill Hyperion. I want to kill the dwarves.
Okay, that's fair. I thought you were going to just try and get a shot at the objective right now.
I don't think it's the turn where I kill the objective. I feel like often the way to plan to kill the objective is when you want to win the game.
Sure.
And I don't think it's doing a lot for you in terms of repairing right now, and I don't think it's available to me anytime I want it, is the reality. So Hyperion is puppet mastered, has a couple of dwarves still engaging him, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take some shots. So I boost a hit, a glitter gun shot at the driller, who's got 3 dwarves around. I choose the puppet master with the reroll. I roll a 4, which is key because your defense 9.
Yes, and
that
you
is
do
a
crit. Yeah.
So I remove the dwarves who are there, and this actually creates some really awkward command issues because I think a couple of the dwarves on this side, certainly the one in the trench, are now out of formation from where the new leader is promoted.
Fun fact, you also got Kell Bailoch in there, so he's dead.
Yeah. And I did a couple points damage to the driller.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah, no, it was like the best timeline for you possible.
Yeah, and I generate 6 handgun shots.
It was just gross.
Which is actually more than I need because I really was only planning to shoot dwarves with handguns. But it gives me some redundancy. I boost some damage into the driller once. There's a couple of different things available to me, but that's the one I went with.
So I'm like, well, this is going fun, and this is exactly what I thought was going to happen. I'm just going to lose this whole zone. So you do end up killing all the Hammer Bros, and they're sad, which means I have 3 or 4 dwarves left that are engaged.
And one of them's out of formation, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually close to scoring this zone, which I don't really have any way to kill that last gun money is the problem. So he doesn't help me especially.
Yeah.
Infiltrators take some more attacks.
Kill Annie.
Yeah, that was actually pretty lucky.
It was.
And the other guy tries to punch the mortar and doesn't do any damage to it. He needs 4s to hit because no one has gang bonus anymore. And then he's pound 9.
Yeah, so it stays off 6.
So I need 7s to kill. What I didn't realize was that you're outside of take-up range, which you mentioned right afterward.
Yeah.
If I'd known that, I probably would have comboed and mid-dice -3. Then I kill him and you don't take it up. But I figured I had to kill him a couple of times to kill that one guy and take up.
No.
Something I could have probably checked, but knowing that now, I was like, oh, I should have comboed. But, yeah, you learn lessons.
Yeah. Instead, I still have a mortar, which is still engaged, so it's like, eh.
Yeah, it's not like in a great spot, but
yeah. And I can no longer get any back strikes onto the infiltrator, so it's really just there. Like,
and he pivoted around and was like, "No more of that, boys.
Yeah,
We're here now."
yeah. So I'm looking at the situation here, and I have no jacks that I can allocate to.
Importantly, though, I did 20 points.
This is true. Yeah.
And you've got some jacks out of control and some jacks disrupted.
Yeah. No, that's not true. There is one jack I can allocate to. It's a blaster, and it's in the zone.
Yeah.
So we don't even bother. So instead, we're activating some Hammer Bros, and we're going to try and take out as much of these eliminators as possible. Like I said, we're all in on plan, start scoring this zone as soon as possible.
So rolling some 7s on Strike Force, and I think we roll 1 of the 7s?
Yep, and we do get a crit smite into my own jack, which, whatever.
No damage to your jack definitely kills the Strike Force member.
Yeah. He's dead on a lot of dice. So we're looking at the zone here, and I'm looking at the fact that Ossrum can move up, cast Unstoppable Force, and be able to bulldoze Hemera out of the zone. So all we need to do is kill this this guy on the flag, which the gun bunny fails to do, and then
Eiryss succeeds with an aiming bonus.
Yeah, so I was hoping that the gun bunny would be able to do it. That way, if I do somehow get like a really weird, like it's not going to happen, but a really weird angle to bulldoze Hemera, I can run Eiryss onto the flag and score 2 points this turn. But it doesn't happen, so instead Eiryss is safe at the back of the zone. And we're going to try now to do the fun plan of bulldoze all the things. So we energize her and bulldoze.
Yeah, Ossrum gets himself just a little bit further out of that forest now.
It's important. You got to get out of that forest or else he can't run to that zone.
Initially, I think we misplayed a plan. Energizer movements can't trigger bulldoze, so I think we moved a gun bunny and bulldoze to Mage Hunter Strike Force member. We pull him back in a second. I just double check that because it has a normal movement clause on it.
Which is something I didn't know about, so thank you.
Yeah. I mean, but you learn lessons like that, right? Mm-hmm. It's ideal to learn that lesson during the recorded game and not after you post to YouTube and get some comments. But
yes.
If we make any mistakes, we do appreciate hearing about it.
Yes. So we activate the driller and he pushes Hemera out.
And is in Ossrum's control area when that happens. It's another clause that a lot of people sometimes forget is they have to be in the Ossrum's control area.
And we walk up and just throw a random punch into you, try and get your shields out, so that maybe in the future I can just one-shot them. And now the hero mortar that could, so the little boys try and get 9s. And then the mortar does, and it's just like, yeah.
The mortar itself kills the infiltrator. He's like, I'm tired of this not shooting business.
Yeah, she's a good girl. She's got this.
Now the blaster activates and pushes that guy away. That's somewhat important because it means the blaster can't aim.
Yep.
He does get to move, though.
So now we get to finally get rid of this stupid Eiryss. We kill an infiltrator, and we roll the 10 and kill Eiryss. So we finally...
First member, but still.
Yeah, but also Eiryss.
Yeah. That's the part that you actually care about killing.
Yeah.
So you contemplate a couple of different places for the driller. You end up, I think, just moving it forward a smidge.
Yeah, so I'm looking at maybe I survive and get the 4-inch bubble still, but I'm in the zone with 2 boys, which is important.
Yeah. You want it to be just even a little bit more in the zone than you were. Mm-hmm. This dictates a little bit what Hyperion's activation is going to be like next. Mm-hmm. So Hemera gets a couple of focus, Hyperion gets a couple of focus, Issyria has a couple left. She's a really good battery, especially if you don't need to cast a ton of blinding lights. Given that Hemera is one of my only vectors for casting Blinding Light, I played a little bit more conservatively in this list. Mm-hmm. Having said that, I think often you don't need it. It's a really, really good spell, and in the matchups that it just wins, it can still just win them with 1 Arc Node. Mm-hmm. Anyway, I charge the unit of Strike Force. They get in on the Gun Bunny, and they get in on the out-of-formation Hammerdorf, but still worth putting some charges into. I think it's all 3 of them actually charge the Gun Bunny.
Yeah.
And they do a fair bit of damage, not a ton, but a fair bit. At dice down 9, I want them to each do 5, and they didn't quite do that, but they leave it alive on 6 boxes.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. Eilish activates, puts Puppet Master on Hyperion, and teleports to...
Be within range of the flag.
Within 6 of the flag.
Yeah. So we can walk and do his Puppet Master shenanigans. I guess you could have been 6. You could have been 11
away from the flag.
Yeah.
Probably should have played him a little bit more conservatively here. I wasn't sure where he'd need to be, and I don't know.
That's fair.
Honestly, maybe he should have been within 4 of the flag and just contesting.
Ooh, yeah, that's true.
11 might have been the right line of play. So Hyperion walks up, kills the driller, and finishes the gun bunny, and has a focus left to heal its shield.
Yeah. So, like I said, this Hyperion gets to live forever. It's fine.
He did good, boy.
And fun thing to note, Issyria is within 3 inches of it now.
Yeah, so she takes a glitter gun shot with ancillary attack and misses the mortar and scatters just a little bit. Kills, I think, the mortar and no one else, and you get to take up because the guy's in range.
Yeah, but Fire for Effect disappears because take up, removes all effects on the model, which is...
I did not know.
Yeah.
That's cute. If Fire for Effect was a unit upkeep, it would be super broken.
Oh my god.
But if Fire for Effect was a unit upkeep, it wouldn't clear.
Yeah.
Hemera, it can stay in Issyria's control area and just move to here. I just make some attacks. I'm trying to screen line of sight a little bit, protect Hemera, maybe get a piece of the wall against a melee attack. At this point, I'm not doing it against this driller. I'm hoping to cripple like a relevant arm or something. I think I don't. I think I take out maybe the claw or something stupid.
Yeah, I think it is the claw.
Strike Force member gets it on a dwarf who he doesn't kill.
That sounds about right.
Something else maybe? Anyway.
I mean, dwarves and Strike Force members are just kind of staring at each other this game.
Infiltrator charges the mortar and kills the mortar. Out of range for take up, so this one remaining guy is now the leader.
Which arguably better because he's speed 4 as opposed to speed 2, and that's the only thing that can contest that zone right now.
Yeah, like hindsight 2020, maybe I should charge the other guy, but I was thinking like let's get the mortar off the table. It's a square piece.
Yeah.
It can still do reasonable work.
So we're looking at the board here, and the easiest thing to do is to run the last mortar member into the scenario piece.
I think it's probably true that Attilio recognized that his win condition was scenario a little bit faster than I recognized that was a possibility for him. I'm still very much playing for attrition, which is maybe a weakness of gun lines is that you get a little bit tunnel vision into doing the work that you need to do. So he runs Ossrum into this zone, which I think is cute. I did not see that coming.
So originally, the fun thing I was going to do was stranglehold the Hyperion, and then I remembered that she has Arcane Vortex. She's within 3 inches. We're not doing this plan. Yeah,
the fact that Ancillary Attack is range 3 and that Arcane Vortex is range 3, just you accidentally are in the right spot.
Yeah,
Oops.
Yeah. So I just run away because I'm like, I just, no. So in case Eiryss has to run to contest the zone or she dies on the flag, I have something to actually score that flag over there. Because
this driller is just blowing up damage.
Yeah.
It's rolled 2 11s. It kills Hemera, like, overkills by 1 point. Like, it's just insane, like, blom, blom, blom.
Yep.
Which is probably fair, because I think I got a couple of good rolls like that with Hyperion previously.
So now we walk up and we want to get rid of Eilish Garrity with the solid shot.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, I'm pretty close for 8. And you're like, no, he's 12. I'm like, oh, right, he's the stupid hand cannon guy.
Yeah.
And he just annoys Eilish, like, blows him right off the board in a little red mist.
And we pass the turn scoring 2 points.
Yeah, so all of a sudden, scenario is a factor. I don't think Attilio is going to be able to win by 5, but I think he very well could get to the bottom of 7 and be in a winning position. So suddenly I have to change my line of thinking and my line of play. The one remaining member of the Infiltrator unit can run and get into the zone, but to do so without taking a free strike from anyone, he has to corrode himself, which is an awkward spot to be because he probably dies next turn. I mean, probably you clear him this turn, but I have to make reasoned lines of play, and if he lives and I get lucky, he still dies.
Yeah.
So I get a 2% CMA on this mortar crew member, which wasn't even a guarantee to kill him, but succeeds. 2% CRA in the back of the dwarf does not break armor. Needs to roll a 7. Didn't get lucky on that one.
So now the Hyperion is walking up to be within 2 inches of the objective, but also being able to shoot other things as well.
Yeah, so I opt to take shots with Hyperion. It's really interesting in this list. Sometimes taking shots with Hyperion makes a lot more difference because of the footprint that you've got available to you. He boosted a glitter gun shot, but does not crit. Manages to kill the dwarf he directly hits and does not kill anyone else in the blast. Generates shots with the hand cannons. Generates 3 and 3 again. Boost damage a couple of times to put some reasonable points into the objective. Leaves the objective alive on 5.
Yeah, which...
takes some shots on the other dwarves. Boost damage once, kills all but one dwarf. Last dwarf does not kill. Pretty good spot so far. Still within, obviously, 2 inches of melee of the objective. Issyria advances to within 3 inches. Ancillary attacks Hyperion. Kills the objective automatically on damage.
Yep.
Seems pretty good. I had to leave the zone with Hyperion, but Issyria is here scoring, so I score 2 points on this side, and Attilio scores 2 points, 1 point on his side, because I'm not able to contest
the flag, but you are able to contest the zone.
Yes.
So I'm looking at the board now, and I'm looking at what can score the flag. Luckily, Ostrum's able to run within 8 inches, or run 8 inches and be on the flag. I'm looking in to see if anything substantial can actually get into your zone. So I'm looking to see if the driller can instead, maybe I don't score my flag, or I score my flag with Eiryss, and the driller gets Energizer and runs 10 inches, but that's not in. So it's going to have to be Eiryss. So what we do is we activate this gun bunny. He kills the one infiltrator. Eiryss runs 14 inches to be on the hill.
In the zone on the hill,
Yep, and then my caster runs over there, and we're looking at trying to just kill the objective, put as much scenario pressure on you as possible.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's very, very relevant. I mean, I killed the objective to stay in the game. You're killing the objective to possibly secure a win for yourself. You, at the end of your turn, score 1 for the objective, 1 for the flag, 1 for the zone?
And 1 for the flag.
Right.
I score 3 points this turn.
Yeah, so you went from 5 to 8.
Yep.
And I scored no points because I'm not on the flag.
Correct, because I've killed all your solos.
Yep. Very, very good. Yeah, I definitely should have played Eilish a little bit differently the last turn, and it's a mistake that you punished me for. I look at what my options are. And there's a long line of play here that we'll talk about in a second, where I try to get into a position to win the scenario by charging to this position and killing the driller. I've got line of sight to the driller right now. I could charge it. I could kill the driller. I could have Issyria, Blinding Light, Eiryss, and I could have a 4-person CRA from Strike Force try to kill her. Sorry, I can't quite get 4. I can get 2-person CRA onto her with Blinding Light. Probably gets her on the hill. And then clear my zone. Issyria velocity back onto the flag, and Hyperion kills the driller. Next turn, I walk Hyperion into his zone and kill the blaster, score the point to equalize, and then win on control point differential.
Yes.
That's tight and that's long, and I'm low on clock. So instead, Issyria advances, Blinding Lights Ossrum, and velocities out of the way of a charge vector for Hyperion. Strike Force move forward. 2 of them, CRA Ossrum. Down to F12 with the CRA, I put 2 points of damage into him.
Which I elect to take because I figure I'm going to need all the focus I can get.
Hyperion doesn't have line of sight to Ossrum because of the forest, but he does to the dwarf over here. He charges the dwarf, kills him with his left attack. Right attack hits Ossrum. Dice +1 after you reduce the focus. I do 7 points. Misses a bot attack, buys another attack, hits, and does 10 damage after the reduction, killing Ossrum.
Yeah, so had I reduced those 2 points of damage, I would have been alive on 1 box. And I win this game because you don't contest my zone.
Correct. So the longer line of play I talked about there, instead of going in to kill Ossrum, I kill the driller, which obviously I hit all the attacks, and I think that's much better for me. I contest the flag, but don't contest his zone. So I give you a point, you go to 9, and I score killing Eiryss with the CRA plus Blinding Light and having Issyria on the flag, 2 points, taking me to 6. On your turn, you go to 10, presumably, scoring your own zone.
Yeah, maybe Ossrum kills the Hyperion, maybe, if he's lucky.
Seems tall.
Yeah, but I mean, you try
If
it.
he does, he comes off the flag either way. Assuming Ossrum doesn't kill the Hyperion, you're at 10, and you've got nothing that can get range to contest, so I go from 6 to 8. So now we're 10 to 8. On my turn, I move Hyperion into the zone.
Kills the gun bunny.
Kill the gun bunny and score 3 points.
Yes.
That takes me to 11.
Yeah, and that wins you the game.
Yeah, and that's a kind of whoa, there's a lot of things to happen to make that happen. And in the last 5 minutes of my clock, do I do that?
Yeah.
Maybe not. It's definitely tough. I think the assassination was by no means a guarantee here. Obviously, as you saw, even rolling 6s, Hyperion missed 1 out of 3 attacks.
Yeah.
But still.
Yeah, so thank you guys for watching. If you've gotten this far, feel free to check out Not Snakes Gaming. We do mostly semi-weekly videos at this point.
And they're excellent quality. I think, they've got an amazing collection of models. They showcase a great variety of stuff. Everything's gorgeously painted. We'll put a link in the description below. But Not Snakes Gaming is doing super awesome stuff. So if you've gotten your full dose of Arcane Assist and want more of a very similar vein of product. And as you can see, based on the level of challenge of the game here, Attilio is playing at an incredibly high caliber.
Thank you.
So Not Snakes Gaming is it's a fun family operation of people who are also savagely good players. And we'll show off some more games here. I'll be playing with the Sorettis on their channel too, so if you want to see more of me play, there's a couple of those coming ahead for you. Please follow us on all the relevant social media channels. And if you have not done so already, it's a pitch that if you can afford $1 a week, the Arcanist Patreon is an opportunity for you to watch a video a week early.
It's Canadian dollars too.
I think it's not. I think it's American dollars.
Never mind.
Yeah, sorry folks. It's $1 US a week.
Okay.
So $4 a month gets you a week early of Arcanist and helps support the work that we do with the channel and allows me to do things like attend the Booker Brawl and record remotely with Studio Seretti here.
Woo!
Yeah. So thanks very much, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.